Hello, and welcome to section 4 of this course, Behaving Ourselves. This is the first of two sections where we'll be looking at behavioural design patterns. In this section, we're going to cover the following patterns, starting with command, then looking at interpreter, state, and finishing with chain of responsibility. In this first video, we'll look at the command pattern. We'll cover what it is, the components of implementing it in Python, and look at an example where we use screen operations. The idea of the command pattern is to decouple the object that invokes the operation from the one that knows how to perform it. So suppose you need to issue requests to objects without knowing anything about the operation being requested or the receiver of the request. You can do this by encapsulating a request as an object, thereby letting you parameterize clients with different requests, queue or log requests, and support undoable operations. So how does it work? The client creates a command object which can be executed at a later date. This object implements a specific interface. Typically it has an execute or do action method, and also keeps track of any arguments required to perform the action. This object also knows about a receiver object that manages its own internal state when the command is executed on it. Finally, one or more invoker objects will execute the command at the required time. So let's have a look at an example. In this case, our receiver object is a screen. It has attributes text and a clipboard, and several methods. So we have the method cut, where you can put some text onto the clipboard and take that text away from the screen text. We also have paste, where you take some text from the clipboard and add it to the text of the screen, depending on the given offset. Now obviously we can also have a copy method, which will be very similar to cut, except without removing the text from screen.text. But just for simplicity's sake, we'll just use cut and paste in this example. We also have a method to clear the clipboard, and some helper methods will return the length of the text on the screen, and the string method, which will return just the text. Okay, so here we have our command interface, screen command. You can see that it has a reference to the screen, and it also has a previous state, which will refer to the screen.text. It has a method execute and undo. And then we have two classes which implement this screen command. One is the cut command, where in execute it will call the cut method on screen, and in undo it will clear the clipboard and restore the text back to its previous state. And then very similarly, we have a paste command, where in execute, again, we call the paste method on the screen, and again in undo, we'll clear the clipboard and restore the text, the screen text back to its previous state. And then finally, we have our screen invoker. So this maintains a list of history. It has a method called store and execute, where we'll execute the command and then append it to the history list. And we do this so we can define this method called undo last, where it looks for self.history, and if it finds a non-empty list, it will pop the last item off and call undo on it. So let's have a look at this in action. So I'm in my PowerShell, and I've already imported the various classes that I need, so let's start by invoking a screen. There, you can see I have a screen and it has the text hello world on it. So now let's apply a cut command. Okay, so now I have my client, which is an instance of the screen invoker, and I should be able to use it to call the cut command. So now you can see that I've cut the word world from this text on the screen. So now let's try and paste it somewhere else. And again, I use the client to call this paste command. I've pasted the word space and the word world in front of hello. Okay, so now let's try the undo last method. Look, my screen has gone back to the state where it just says hello, and if we call undo last again, there, I've gone back to the state that I started with. So that's how the undo works.